Hello, welcome to the first video in this Roblox scripting tutorial series. In this video, I will teach you how to use printing and variables. So the first step is to go to this View tab up here and then click on it, and then you're going to want to have Output enabled. This is just this part down here that shows you all of the output from Studio. So for example, I changed the transparency of the base plate a little ago to show as an example, and it showed as the output down here. You're also going to want to have your command bar open, which is this part down here. This is what I used to change the transparency of the base plate just to test. And then you're going to want the Explorer open, which is this part here, which shows your workspace, your players, the lighting, the material, service, all of that stuff. And then you're going to want properties, which is this tab down here. So if you select the base plate, it's going to show this whole list of properties, like the brick color, does it cast a shadow, does it have a certain amount of transparency. So yeah. Now your first step is to insert a part. This could be any part. You could insert a sphere, a wedge, a corner wedge, or a cylinder. It does not matter. And then you're going to select that part and go to this plus icon right here. You're going to click on that and you're going to insert a new script. Now right off the bat, you can see that there is already a message here, and this comes with every new script you create. It will always have print hello world here. And this is the print function, which essentially means that if you go to run, then it's going to say hello world down in your output here. This will not show in the actual game, but it will show in your output, so it makes it easier to follow along with your scripts and make sure that they're working. And then if you wanted to have it say something else, then you would want to make sure to keep the parentheses and the quote marks, because those are very important. Keep them on both sides. Now you could just change the text in here to test run. Now if you run this, then it's going to print test run. And this is super easy if you put it inside of giant blocks of code to make sure that it's actually making it to these parts and that it's actually working. So you could say line 1 worked. Then you could copy this and then paste it and say line 2 worked, and then line 3 worked, and etc. Now if you click run, it will say all of those. Line 1 worked, line 2 worked, line 3 worked. And this is very, very useful especially when you're getting into more advanced coding later on. Now, if you want to know how to make a variable, then it is incredibly simple. You just type local and then a space. You're going to name your variable next. So you could do, how about burgers? So that's your name of your variable. Now you could add a value to this, or you could just keep it like this. So right now burgers does not have a value if I were to run the game. But if I were to click space and then equals, then you could set it to 900. Now that is definitely a lot of burgers, but let's just say for the sake of this video that you have 900 burgers. Now if you wanted to print the amount of burgers that you have, then you would create a new print function, print, and then you would not insert the quote marks, just the parentheses, because the quote marks think that you are talking about text, but the parentheses will talk about, like, it'll think that you're referencing a variable. So if you do the parentheses and then burgers, now as you can see it gave a drop down menu which showed burgers, then it will print your number of burgers. So if we click run, then it'll say 900, which is the number of burgers, and it will also still say line 1 worked, line 2 worked, and line 3 worked. except it can print your burgers. Now, let's say you also wanted another one. Let's say that your barbecue was too bland. Let's say you wanted some pizza as well. Let's say that you have 500 pieces of pizza. Then you could also print the amount of pizza. Now if we click run, then it will say 900 and 500. So 900 burgers and 500 pizzas. Now that is basically simply how printing and variables work. But if you wanted to change a variable later on, then you would simply just go pizza equals pizza plus 1 or 10, or even you could multiply it. Now just hold shift and then click 8. That's how you get that symbol. So pizza equals pizza times 10. You could also do minus, so if we were to run that, then it would do 900, then 490, because it is also printing the amount of pizza you have here. And you could also do that with burgers, this variable here, but make sure that if you have a certain variable name, to copy it onto here word for word. Capitals for capitals, literally everything has to be exactly the same, otherwise it will not run properly and you will have an issue in your code. But that concludes this video, and I hope that this helped with learning about variables and printing. And if you have any questions, leave comments below. And this was also my first Roblox scripting tutorial, so if you have any feedback, leave some feedback down below. And I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.